Today on Inquirer, Bureau of Corrections files multiple complaints including plunder and malversation of public funds against suspended BuCor chief Gerald Bantag. Oil companies to implement big-time fuel price rollback. Diesel to be slashed by 3 pesos per liter. COVID-19 cases dropped to 17 in Metro Manila, the lowest since March 2020. And Brooklyn Nets trade Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. Good evening. The Bureau of Corrections has filed multiple complaints including plunder and malversation of public funds against suspended BuCor chief Gerald Bantag. INQUIRER.net's justice reporter Tech Torres Tupas fills us in with the details. Tech?
Neil, another complaint has been filed against suspended Bureau of Corrections Director General Gerald Bantag, this time involving the questionable disbursement of 900 million for the construction of as well as repair of prison facilities at the Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm, in Palawan, Davao Prison Penal Farm, and Leyte Regional Prison in Abuyog, Southern Leyte. Aside from Bantag facing complaints for plunder, graft, malversation of public funds, and violation of the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards of public officials and employees, is 1 personnel from the Bureau of Jail Management and Technology, as well as 6 personnel from the Bureau of Corrections. Based on the complaint, Bantag allegedly conspired with the other respondents to divert or misappropriate the funds for the construction of prison facilities in a public bidding held last September 2020. The complaint said the 900 million, 273 million were misappropriated by the respondents. BuCor legal counsel Al Pereira said the government paid the winning contractors about 93% of the 300 million allotted for Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm construction, but only 57% were completed, while 95% of the 300 million were paid for the construction and repair of the Davao Prison and Penal Farm, but only 59% were completed, while for the Leyte construction, 80% have been paid of the 300 million funding, but only 47% has been completed. INQUIRER.net has tried to get the side of the camp of Director Bantag, but has not yet responded. Neil?
Tech, let's explain this to those who are watching us right now. So what happens next? What options do the side of the camp of General Bantag have?
After the filing of the complaint, it is a standard operating procedure at the DOJ that the case will be assigned by the National Prosecutor's Service to either a prosecutor or a panel of prosecutors, depending on the nature of the case. Then once a panel of prosecutors or a prosecutor has been assigned to the case, they will evaluate the complaint if it would warrant a conduct of preliminary investigation or outright dismissal of the complaint. If they will conduct a preliminary investigation, this means they will determine if the evidence submitted by the Bureau of Corrections is enough to file the case in court. But before that, during the conduct of the preliminary investigation, Bantag will be required to submit a counter affidavit and supporting evidence against the complaint filed against him by the BuCor. Then after that, the Bureau of Corrections will be required to respond, and eventually, based on that, they will determine if the case will be filed in court or not.
Okay, Tech, thank you so much. That's Tech Torres Tupas reporting live. The Department of Agriculture is eyeing a lower suggested retail price for onions at 125 pesos per kilogram. Tell us more. Here's John Eric Mendoza reporting live. Eric?
The Department of Agriculture is looking into lowering the suggested retail price or SRP of onions to 125 pesos. That is according to Agriculture Deputy Spokesperson Rex Escoperes. He made the announcement in light of the arrival of imported onions in the anticipated peak of the onion harvest season. In a teleradio interview, Escoperes said that to ensure retail prices would go down, The department is considering setting an SRP of 125 pesos a kilo for onions. He said markets would also be closely monitored. However, he admitted that there is a possibility that the market may not comply with the SRP. At the height of the supply shortfall, the price of onions skyrocketed to as high as 700 pesos per kilo in some parts of the country. To stem the price increase, the country resorted to importation of onions despite the start of the harvest season. The DA has approved the importation of 21,000 metric tons of onions, the first shipment of which has already arrived. Neil?
Thanks, Eric. That's John Eric Mendoza reporting live. Metro Manila recorded 17 cases of COVID-19 on Sunday, the lowest infection tally since March 2020, according to independent pandemic monitor Octa Research. To give us an update, here's our health reporter Zakarian Sarao reporting live. Zach?
Yes, Neil, only 17 cases of COVID-19 were recorded in Metro Manila on Sunday, which makes it the lowest number of daily infections tallied in the region since March 2020, according to independent pandemic monitor Octa Research. Octa also said the positivity rate in the NCR went down to 1.7% from the previous week's 2.4%, significantly lower than the World Health Organization's ideal threshold of 5%. This number reflected the 36 infections recorded nationwide by the Department of Health on Sunday, which brought the country's total COVID-19 caseload to 4,073,826, with recoveries at 3,998,597, and deaths at 65,851. Based on the DOH online COVID-19 tracker, active cases are currently at 9,378. The tracker showed that Metro Manila continues to lead the list of regions with the most number of infections recorded in the past 2 weeks at 614, while Davao del Sur leads the list in terms of individual areas with 121. Meanwhile, the DOH earlier reported that it has registered a total of 1,012 COVID-19 infections from January 30 to February 5, which is 16% lower than the recorded number the previous week at 1,206. No new severe or critical cases were also noted in these infections. However, 85 additional deaths were reported. These deaths are slightly higher than the deaths logged the previous week, which was at 74. Also, despite the decrease in recorded infections, healthcare utilization rate slightly increased, with non-ICU bed admission rate rising from 19.5 to 19.6%, and ICU bed utilization from 14 to 14.2%. Back to you, Neil.
Thanks, Zach. That's Zakarian Sarao reporting live. Sotto will continue to pursue his NBA dream, playing for a different team, as Sotto moves on from the Adelaide's 36ers in Australia's National Basketball League after 2 seasons. As per the team on its website, Sotto has, quote, agreed to an overseas offer during the NBL off-season. The 20-year-old Filipino center bid farewell to Adelaide on his Instagram just hours after the 36ers bowed out of playoff contention following a 117-107 loss to Melbourne United. Sotto, who did not say where he's playing next, logged only 2 minutes in his final game for the 36ers. Sotto played a total of 50 games in the NBL and averaged 7.1 points and 4.5 rebounds. Adelaide coach CJ Broughton believes Sotto will only get better as he charts a new path in his basketball career. Next on Inquirer Today, Office for Transportation Security to probe Enhypen security incident at MIAA after unprofessional treatment. Oil companies to implement big-time fuel price rollback, diesel to be slashed by 3 pesos per liter. And the Brooklyn Nets trade Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. This is Inquirer Today. We'll be back shortly.
Hello, I'm Paul Sumayo.
I'm Jedi Directo, and we're owners of Barbira Barbershop here in Laguna.
Barbira is a wordplay between Barbie, which is kind of also a slur, no? Especially sa mga effeminate gays. But there was a viral video that came out na sabi ko na nga ba Barbie, parang there was a na may batang pumili ng Barbie. We kind of led with that. And Barbie has always been associated with kabaklaan. And then we also paired it with barbero, which is, the Filipino term for barbers. Sabi nila, haircuts are generally historically gendered, no? Barbershops are for men, salons are for women. And that's what Barbera is for. We wanted to create that conversation na hindi kailangan, may gender distinction ang haircuts ng babae at lalaki or anyone in between. Coming from personal experience, I would take two brothers to the barbershop. Kahit out and proud ako nun sa Camarines where I was young, I was in my teens. Still, it's uncomfortable because parang they would look at me. I had to sort of scale down the way I look imbes na I would go for the floral prints. Pag pupunta kami sa barbero ng kapambahay and maluwag na basketball shorts. So I would borrow from uncles or cousins. That level of discomfort pa lang without even someone initiating it is really, kind of a horrific experience na parang nagagaling sa loob.
It's really more trying to act, boyish, diba? Kasi parang that's how you want to get treated normally, diba? Parang I was always conscious of, not trying to be too effeminate. Nung bata ako, conscious ako doon kasi parang my uncles, my titas would always call me out on that. Diba? Kasi parang dapat lalaki ganito.
Being a safe space essentially means that you're able to become your authentic self within that space. Kasi if may spaces na hindi safe for you, then of course you'd actually essentially look for a safe space. We would encounter customers, especially the trans masculine customers. They kind of like the fact that we address them properly, especially yung mga, the trans masculine lesbians. They kind of like the fact na we address them as sir or boss or chief. Kind of a horrifying story for them na pag pumunta sila ng salon, ma'am. Pag pumunta sa barbershop, ma'am pa din. May mga customers kami who would open up na sila mismo yung nag-open up. And that's how we liked it. Kasi the fact that they're opening up, that's a good sign for us na we're doing our job as a safe space.
Yung training talaga pinaka tumatak sa isip ko doon yung parang discrimination. Lahat ng nakakasalamuha mo, hindi mo pala alam yung tunay na gender, ganun. Baga parang respect mo lang.
We're trying to think about like parang what a queer barbershop should actually look like. Basically, we kind of like settled on the idea na it doesn't really have to parang show its queerness right off the bat, but announcing ourselves as queer owners who welcome anybody, diba, in this safe space.
Yeah.
Yun is enough.
The Office for Transportation Security says it is holding an investigation after a video showing an airport security officer allegedly neglecting the airport's no-contact security check policy towards K-pop group Enhypen went viral. To give us an update, here's Hannah Mallorca reporting live. Hannah?
The Office for Transportation Security is investigating what fans said was a disrespectful treatment of Enhypen on their way back to South Korea via the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The group was about to depart the country following their 3-day manifesto concert in Pasay City from February 3 to February 5 when an airport security personnel ran their hands over the members. Some fans called out the Manila International Airport Authority, which is supervision over NIAA, especially after a video of the frisking surfaced in social media.
In the video, an airport security officer appeared to be giggling while patting down the 7-member band, particularly Nikki, as they walked through a metal detector. Several airport staff members are also spotted taking videos of the K-pop boy group as they were preparing to fly back home. In a statement released through its Facebook page on February 6, the OTS said it is currently investigating the matter to determine the extent of violation committed based on existing rules and security screening protocols. The OTS further said appropriate administrative sanctions would be sanctioned if it deemed violations were committed. And we quote, "While we understand the excitement brought about by the presence of these Korean artists, we remind not only our personnel, but all airport users that unauthorized filming at our security screening checkpoints is not allowed as a matter of policy." Because of the incident, Enhypen's encounter in MIAA became a trending topic on social media, with the hashtag #MiaDoBetter garnering over 72,000 tweets. Meanwhile, others called the attention of the group's music label, B-Lift Lab, to take action towards the matter. On the other hand, some fans accused the airport staff of taking advantage of her job, with some pointing out that Nikki is still a minor. Enhypen was formed in 2020 through the survival show Island and is best known for the hit songs Polaroid Love, Fever, Tame Dash, and Blessed Curse. The group is composed of Hisung, Jae, Jake, Sungun, Sunu, Jongwon, and Nikki. Back to you, Neil.
Thanks, Hannah. That's Hannah Mallorca reporting live. Senator Robin Padilla is proposing that all former heads of state automatically become presidential advisors. This in addition to other benefits for former presidents that his colleagues are proposing through Senate Bill number 1784. In a statement, Padilla expressed his support for his colleagues' proposal. Padilla then proposed an additional measure of having former presidents automatically become presidential advisors. He added that it would be up to the sitting president to choose which area the advisors can contribute to. The bill, filed by Senators Bongo, Mark Villar, Bato de la Rosa, and Francis Tolentino, seeks to grant former presidents and their immediate families personal security and protection in order to thwart any attempt to harm them even after leaving a public office. Good news for motorists. Pump prices of gasoline, diesel, and kerosene will be rolled back by as much as 3 pesos per liter starting Tuesday, February 7. The prices of gasoline will be slashed by 2 pesos and 10 centavos per liter, while diesel prices will be cut by 3 pesos per liter. Meanwhile, kerosene prices will decrease by 2 pesos and 30 centavos per liter. Last week, the prices of gasoline, diesel, and kerosene saw an increase of over 1 peso per liter. The Brooklyn Nets have traded All-Star guard Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks, according to reports. Irving reportedly requested to be dealt before the NBA's February 9 trade deadline after talks about a new contract with the Nets did not go to his liking. According to ESPN and The Athletic, the Nets will receive Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a second-round draft picks in 2027 and 2029, and Irving, who this year was selected as an All-Star for the 8th time. Irving has averaged 27.1 points, 5.3 assists, and 5.1 rebounds over 40 games during the 2022-2023 campaign. Earlier this season, Irving faced heavy criticism for promoting a film with anti-Semitic themes. Irving ended up missing 8 games after the Nets suspended him. Pop superstar Beyonce broke the record for most career wins at the Grammy Awards, but lost again in the prestigious Album of the Year category to British singer Harry Styles. Beyonce picked up 4 Grammys, including Best Dance Electronic Album, bringing her career total to 32. Despite her success over the years, the artist has never claimed the Best Album trophy. This year, it was Harry Styles that took home that honor for Harry's House. Album of the Year nominees included Beyonce, Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny, singer and flutist Lizzo, British vocalist Adele, and the disco-era Swedish hitmaker ABBA. Honorees were chosen by roughly 11,000 members of the Recording Academy. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Catch Inquirer Today live weekdays at 6 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.